have some grievances with the Heartstopper fandom. I would like to preface this by saying, I know people can enjoy media in different ways. Just because someone likes Heartstopper for different reasons than I do, that's still fine. I'm probably not going to end up participating in the Heartstopper fandom because I don't like the stuff that they're saying and it's making me enjoy it less, so I don't have to participate in it, but you can. I just want to get my grievances out, because maybe it'll make people think, I don't know. Grievance number 1. How people on this app talk about eating disorders is very characterized, like they make a character out of it, and Charlie is falling into that hole. Charlie's eating disorder is not rooted in him wanting to be thin. There's not a lot of representation for the eating disorders like that. Charlie's anorexia is rooted in his OCD. And by making it about him wanting to be thin is taking away that's not what it's about. Eating disorders that have very little to do with becoming thin are very rarely represented. And I'm sure that society has an aspect in everyone's eating disorder, we all know this, but that's not what it's about. And the fact that people are making it about that is frustrating to me. This is gonna bleed into grievance number 2. One thing I really like about Heartstopper. The characters are characters before they are mentally ill and before they are queer. They are people with mental illness and they are people who are queer. The story isn't about Charlie overcoming his mental illness. It is about him living with it. Very few people actually overcome their mental illness. That's why when he's at his lowest, there's a time skip. Of course, he is constantly fighting to overcome his mental illness. That's how it works. But he's living with it. So by saying you're missing the point of the story, by being like, hey, maybe a character that is bigger in the original source material should have gotten an actor who is the same body type as him, I feel like you're watering down the story a little bit by thinking it's just about self-love. Grievance number 3. Nick and Charlie aren't soulmates. Okay, so I know in the literal novella Nick and Charlie, they're described by other characters as soulmates, but that's clearly incorrect. We very rarely see in media realistic relationships. Nick and Charlie both have to work at their relationship. They are not made for each other. They get along really well, and they work hard to be together because they love each other. There is not some weird universal force pulling them together. And I notice people are making it into that when it's not. In fact, Heartstopper, one of the chapters that influenced me the most, actively calls this out. The scene with Nick on the beach where he's like, I don't know how to save Charlie. And his mom's like, that's not your responsibility, he needs to get professional help. That's so good, and no one else is saying it. The reason Nick and Charlie as a relationship works is because they put the work into it. It's a very realistic and healthy relationship because of that. So again, by soulmatingify it, you're taking away from that aspect. I love me a good soulmate narrative, but it enforces codependency. And Heartstopper actively calls out why codependency is bad, and why codependency in relationships is bad for everyone involved, especially when you're young. And no other queer media does that. Please consider my thoughts. Thank you.